The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Hear, hear. Speaker, it is now clear that this costly, crooked, cover-up coalition engaged in corrupt practices in the Arrive scam scandal. The Auditor General's report revealed that this government rigged the process. That is, that senior officials sat down with the well-connected insider firm GC Strategies and discussed and arranged the terms of a deal which GC Strategies would then bid on. They were able to rig the process, discuss the terms of the deal, which they then bid on, and surprise, got the contracts. But we still don't know why this NDP Liberal coalition went to such lengths to favor GC Strategies. Let's paint the picture. GC Strategies is two guys who work out of a basement. They don't do any actual work on projects. They simply receive the contracts and then subcontract them and take massive commissions along the way. It'd be like if the member for York Simcoe and I went out and started Lake Simcoe Enterprises, did no work, just got contracts, passed it along. That'd be a good deal for us. That'd be a bad deal for taxpayers, right, Mr. Speaker. Why isn't it that the government simply hired the IT professionals to do the work, rather than going through a couple middlemen sitting in their basement who know nothing about IT, whose only business is to go on LinkedIn, find people who can do the work, and then, get the contracts, find the people to actually do the work, and collect millions and millions of dollars in commission in the process. But this government chose these two people. This government chose this contract, this company, to be the favored son of Liberal corrupt procurement. And why were they chosen? Well, we still don't have an answer to that. Maybe the Parliament Secretary will be able to explain this to the House. But frankly, we have seen that this government, this Prime Minister, the people working under him have persistently rigged the process to reward insiders and to punish taxpayers. That's right. And the process is broken. And you'll hear Liberals say, well, those Conservatives, they'll make cuts. What will they spend less on when they're in government? Well, I'll tell you, it's not rocket science. If you've got a two-person firm who receives the contracts, then passes it along, and does no work in the process, it seems pretty uncomplicated. Ideally to cut out the contracting out in general and have the work done inside government, but at least cut out the middleman. And GC Strategies has rightly gotten a lot of attention. They've done very well under this government. They were founded in 2015, and they've done extremely well under these NDP Liberals. But there are over 600 different companies doing this IT middleman contracting and subcontracting. Over 600 companies doing so-called staff augmentation for the public service. This is out of control, and it's massive amounts of money. There's been a dramatic growth in public service spending, but also a dramatic growth in contracting out at the same time. And a substantial amount of that contracting out is going to do-nothing middleman companies and going for advice, professional services. So, Mr. Speaker, why is this government spending so much and getting so little for Canadians?
Good question. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, taxpayer money does need to be treated with the utmost respect. Departments and agencies must follow contracting rules and handle all procurement processes in a fair, open, and transparent manner, and in accordance with all policies, guidelines, regulations, and trade agreements. The gaps in management processes, rules, and controls that the Auditor General of Canada and the Procurement Ombudsman have identified in their reports are unacceptable. We welcome the recommendations made in the reports. The CBSA has already taken steps to strengthen its procurement activities and ensure proper oversight over these activities. The agency has established an executive procurement review committee tasked with approving contracts and task authorizations. This is already providing additional oversight on all contracting activities, focusing on delivering value for money. Employees will be required to disclose interaction with potential vendors. And furthermore, Public Services and Procurement Canada will continue to strengthen all aspects of the federal procurement system and will use findings from the Auditor General's report to improve the way the Government of Canada does business with its suppliers. The honourable member will certainly remember the unprecedented context in which the ArriveCAN application was created. After the pandemic was declared in March 2020, the app was developed and launched as quickly as possible by Canada Border Services Agency at the request of Public Health Agency of Canada. The data provided by ArriveCAN was essential for the government to monitor, detect, and identify new COVID-19 variants of concern and to respond as these variants evolved. The CBSA was working as quickly as possible to replace a paper process that was not meeting public health needs. At the time, there was significant wait times at the border, and that disrupted the essential flow of people and goods. And I wish to point out to the honourable member that the Auditor General recognized in her report that the government improved the speed and quality of information collected at the border by using the ArriveCAN app rather than the paper form. And we should not forget that this app helped ensure the continued flow of essential goods, including food and medical supplies, for all Canadians. The CBSA played a key role in facilitating the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines in this country. The public health measures that were taken have supported Canadian businesses dependent on secure and timely cross-border shipments. They kept food and goods on store shelves and ensured our frontline workers were equipped with essential supplies such as personal protective equipment. And I would like to emphasize the efforts of frontline border officers and all CBSA personnel who diligently served and protected Canadian citizens during the pandemic and who continue to do so every single day in Canada and around the world. Thank you.
For Sherwood Park, for Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, it is unbelievable to me that these NDP Liberals are still defending the ArriveCAN policy. Now, the fact is, this app was a disaster. $60 million were spent. A big chunk of it went to this do-nothing middleman company. Most versions of the app, according to the Auditor General, were not tested. Most versions weren't tested.
Unreal.
And as a result, over 10,000 people who followed all the rules were accidentally sent into quarantine because of a glitch in the app. Imagine that. You do everything you're supposed to. You're coming back home. You're supposed to be able to see your family and get back to work, and you're sent into quarantine. Not because you were supposed to, but because this government couldn't be bothered to test the app, and they hired two guys working out of a basement with no IT experience who went on LinkedIn to find other people to do the work. The Auditor General very clearly said there is no excuse, and this government continues to make excuses in spite of it. Does this government have no shame? Will they finally admit what a disaster their ArriveCAN policy was?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, despite the hyperbole and fake outrage, I will reiterate that transparency and accountability is a priority for this government. We expect procurement processes to be properly followed and that anyone accused of wrongdoing face the appropriate consequences. This has been and always will be the case. The gaps found by the Auditor General and the Procurement Ombudsman and in the reports are unacceptable, and we welcome the recommendations. The government is taking steps to ensure all government departments are better positioned to undertake projects of this nature in the future. Some of the recommendations outlined in the report have already been addressed. The President of the CBSA has implemented measures to strengthen and improve procurement processes and internal controls, and the government has full confidence that any investigation into wrongdoing allegations will be pursued with integrity and efficiency. Speaker, I can assure you, the honourable member, and all Canadians that this government remains unwavering in its commitment to prioritise efficiency, accountability, and transparency in the stewardship of public resources.